the training is mainly focusing on Power BI. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool. So using this particular Power BI tool, we can create the reports. So it is from Microsoft. So previously we had SSRS BI tool from Microsoft, but slowly they have they're not supporting for that. They are focusing mainly on Power BI itself. So as the usage of the reporting need is completely dependent on Power BI for the companies also. So if you look at that, right, on the market also. So the most used tool is Power BI for reporting. So it has a lot of features where it can we can use to create the reports, and it has been showcased as like last 4 years number one in the market. Okay. So basically, what is this Power BI? So it's as I mentioned, like it's a business intelligence tool, right? Using this tool, right, we can connect with the data and we can create the reports. So, so that is one part. So in order to learn this training, so we also need some other knowledge also, maybe for to work on these projects, or to clear the interviews, or so this perspective. So for that, so we might need the knowledge on data warehouse, because so Power BI is a tool where we always deal with the data. So we should know what are the is the data terminologies are there. So what kind of models are there within the data. So likewise, with respect to that data side, so we should be having knowledge on data side. So I will also be covering in this training data warehousing concepts as well, right? And also, as I mentioned, like it is more about data. So where we will be storing the data, it will be on the database. So, so for that, how do we have to query the data? Or if you create a report, how do we do the data validation, right? So it's all about SQL. So I'll be covering SQL also. So this is about end-to-end where we will be learning in this particular training. So one is data warehouse, SQL, and Power BI. So, so even in the interview also, we get that questions on all these areas. Okay, if you're applying for a Power BI developer, you will be getting the questions on all these areas, right? So let's talk about let's understand about what is Power BI, or why you should invest in business intelligence. Like you should means companies has to invest in business intelligence. What is the necessity of keeping this Power BI or any other BI tool and get that things, right? So how exactly they help for the companies, right? So if you look at here, business intelligence is the process that help data, like change data into information. So whatever the data we have it, so we will have the informative a part of that particular data. So how it will be informative if you look at, okay, let me just open quickly one of the report. Yeah, so just one report, or I will even search it in Google also, Power BI reports, right? So if you look at, it is for just to showcase for you. Yeah, so if you look at here report, okay, it is going to here. Yeah, so this is also one report, but let me go with one of that. It could be all our reports only, like whatever it is that I just search with Power BI reports and we can see these kind of things. Or maybe I can go with like this. Yeah. So if you look at here, this is the report. It shows that information, but data, how it is stored in the back end is different, and what we see, the data representation is different, right? If you want to see this actual raw data, which is stored in the like a database, right? So in order to get that what is happening, you might not be able to get it very quickly. So with the report, so what information we wanted, so we can create that pictorial representation with this, and it helps. So that's the thing. So business intelligence is the process that help us change data into information. That information, whatever we have this information, no, this information is something knowledge for us. So what is happening, we get that clear updates over here, and with that knowledge, we will try to plan it how we want to go further in their business. Simple thing is, let's say for example, a small shop, you take it. If they are buying something, some product, right? So and they will be selling it in the shop. So how much they have purchased, how much they have sold, how many stock is left, how much returns they got it. All these things they don't see with Power BI, or they don't depend on the BI tools. But if you actually look at any of the, for example, medical shop, right? If you go for a medicine, particular medicine, which is not a standard one, right? They will search it in their database, right? So which means the data is stored somewhere to check and give that update whether it is available or not, right? So it is a kind of data management and also business intelligence, right? So this business intelligence mainly it gives us that, like, how what exactly it is happening, how exactly, like how much we are getting that, if it is a sales, it is could be sales. It is not about one particular thing. There are if you look at here business intelligence, I'll just go through that like in further slides. But yeah, business intelligence is required everywhere. For example, if you take banking, right? How many transactions is happening today in overall UPI transactions, or how many transactions happen in ATM, or if you remember, like there is some limit in the transactions also. These many transactions only we have to make it in through ATM, uh, you know, uh, per month, right? So all those things, how they will decide, right? Like it depends how many transactions we can make it. So it will store that information in the database. So based on that, they can calculate it, right? So it's everything. If you talk about, it will be data, but that data will be used in records. For example, if you take ATM machine, lot of transactions can happen in a day, right? Those transactions, how much inflow went and how much outflow is there. I mean, how much is the cash deposited? All these things, if you want to check it, right? So it will not be easy to go with the data. So that's why we make a report out of it, connecting that data to some of the tools like Power BI, or this kind of business intelligence tools. We connect it and we create the reports out of it, right? So that's how it works with respect to. But let me just walk you through the whole flow of this particular BI interface. Okay, so if you look at, so we get the data, large amounts of the raw data. So we get the data. Let's say if you take clothing shops, clothing shop, right? So, or if you take Swiggy or Zomato or banking system or any kind of things, right? So we might get the data. For example, if you take some of the clothing store, they will have a lot of shops within Bangalore. Lot of shops they will have within Bangalore, right? Stores. So each store they will get some list of the data. I mean, whatever the sales transactions happen, right? So that they can get it. Or if you take manufacturing company, right? How much has been how much materials has been purchased. That kind of data will be stored in their in that particular portal, right? So the data can be in any format. When I say any format, we might get the data in Excel format, CSV or JSON or XML or any kind of format. We get that raw data initially from that raw data, right? So we want to store that data in a place. So I'm talking about data warehouse, right? So data warehouse is nothing but it's a term actually. Data warehouse means the place where we store the data, right? So what we do, whatever the data we have it, right? So those data we extract, transform, and load it into the a data warehouse. To do this extract, transform, and load, so we have a ETL tools are there. There are some tools are there for that. We will be creating that jobs to get this data picked up from different places and get the data stored in the data warehouse. From that warehouse, I mean, data warehouse means it's a huge, all the data, all the business data, all the data of that particular business data will be stored in the data warehouse. But when you talk about, I'm particularly looking about some data. I want to create one report, sales report, or brand report, or logistics report. So if I talk about some data, in data warehouse, I will have complete data. So out of which I might take a few tables out of it. What is required for me? So whatever the data is required, I'll take it. I'll develop it. I'll create the report in the pictorial representation. If you could look at, so this is one of the chart. Basically, this is a bar and line chart. So it will be represented like it is not one bar chart we develop it. So it could be anything like if you could notice here. So we will have lot of charts are there here and all, right? So likewise we will have a pictorial representation. We will be making it like here. From that, as a Power BI developer, what we do, so we connect with the database and create the reports. That's it, right? So this is something database, I mean, DB engineer does, database engineer does. What he does, he'll create the jobs and get the data loaded into the database. Our job is as a Power BI developer, so we connect with the data and create the reports. From these reports, right, there will be business users will be there, right? So those users, what they do, so they will have meetings and they will discuss about these reports, numbers, and they will decide like how they want to go forward in their business. This way or that way, like that, they will have a discussions and they will make a decisions on how they want to go further, right? Also, so we can also do forecasting, right? Like predicting future also like I have a manufacturing company. I have last year or last quarter I have got some 500 products or 500 cars has been got. So based on the customer based on the existing data, so we can predict the future and we need to get these products ready. For example, if I have next quarter 600 cars and the demand is 1000 cars, so another 400 customers I will not be able to fulfill or deliver their requirement, right? Which means they might go with another car or another brand of car also, and it will be loss or it will be impact on my business, right? So if I have a chance of predicting, okay, the customers closely, I might get like 900 or 1100, then easily I can plan for that much of manufacturing of cars, then I can easily get them sold out. So these kind of things can be done using data science. So using the existing data, so we can predict the future and we can get the data also. Those data also can be represented in the form of reports. So what I'm saying is, so one is like whatever the data we have it, with that data, I create a report and show. The second is, so we can also, based on the existing data, I can generate the data also, future data also, future preference data also approximately. So which helps the manufacturer to be ready with how much it can be developed for that. So that kind of data also can be represented again with the BI reports. Okay, so that's the flow actually. Like this is how it happens. Okay, so I will also give the time or the time at the end of this session where if you have any queries or questions, you can ask them at the end actually. This is a just a demo or overview session, right? I'll just go through what I have to present, but if you have any kind of questions, you can ask me at the end. But in our regular sessions, you can ask the questions at any point of time if you don't have, I mean, if you have any queries, okay? So let me walk you through. So if you could see, this is the most standard project architecture basically. We have data sources are there. From the data source, as I mentioned, there is a ETL is there. So data sources means, for example, if you buy something on Amazon.com, right? So like you will be purchasing that through your mobile app. So with that we get a order. I mean, it will be getting as an order. So that as a one record, right? So that is like one of the orders record way they get it. So that will be stored in the database, right? So likewise, there will be sources will be there. For example, if you consider about like Amazon application or Flipkart application, right? So whatever we do backend, there will be one of the source. It will be storing the data from that source, right? So we extract that information and we can store that into the data warehouse. So basically, the source itself one of the data, but the data warehouse where we will have all the data, we will pick it up from different places and we store it in one place, right? So that's why, so we will have data sources, right, of the different business or whatever. So through ETL, so we get the data stored in one place, right? So data warehouse sometimes, right, like if it is very huge, we don't store historical data. So we will keep that historical data archived in another repository or another database. It could be called as a master data management, MDM. So we will store that data over there and we'll keep whatever the data is required for reporting or analysis. That much we will keep it. So we'll go through all these things in detail in data warehousing concepts or lessons, which we will have it from the next class, right? So we'll go in detail about this architecture to understand all those aspects about the data and what kind of models are there, all those things. But end of the day, if you look at, so from here, so we'll have specific data marts. For example, in data warehouse, we will have sales data, volume data, HR data, marketing data, logistics data, any kind of data will be present in here. But when we go with the sales reports, we might have a separate data mart also created. So why we create data mart or what is the necessity, all these things we'll discuss in upcoming lessons. But this is just for your information, like to understand what is happening here. Okay, from this we create this, I mean we use this BI tool to create the reports and we provide access to the users for their usage and analysis. So this is how it happens in the projects. But as I mentioned before, right, so we will not be working with one kind of data. It depends on the um, company which you will be working with. So, but if you look at the data, which has a lot of domains, like if you could see, so financial data will be there. I mean, financial companies, manufacturing companies, healthcare, e-commerce, energy, electrical and electronics, food and beverages, aerospace and telecommunication. So, see, financial, I just mentioned few of the banking names. ICICI Bank, like that. There are like lot of companies within the financials. Not only this kind of things, there will be insurance also. They also come under finance only, right? So it's end of the day, data can be like from the any of the company. So as a Power BI developer, you will have to understand the requirement to what is that objective of that report, and you have to connect with the data. It could be any kind of domain of the data. So it could be financial data, manufacturing data, but most of the projects we get it in Indian side, right? Like it will be mostly on the financial, manufacturing, and e-commerce, and food and beverages also we get it, right? So remaining domains also, healthcare also we might get, but it will be a bit less actually. So it's all about if you have knowledge on Power BI, how to develop a report or how to create a reports. It could be any domain of the data, it doesn't matter. So end of the day, it's all about data. You have to connect with the data and create the data model and create the specific things with DAX expressions and create the reports. So that's how it goes. Uh, doesn't matter like what kind of domain of the data it is there, but if you have knowledge, you can easily work on. Okay. And if you look at again the same thing, it is mentioned in a different way. So we will have data sources. So we will have a ETL tool I mentioned, right? So if you look at here, this flow, ETL tool will be there to load this raw data into data warehouse. So the tool name I mentioned here, using this tool, there is not only one tool in the market. We have mobiles, right? Lot of brands of mobiles are there. Likewise, we have lot of ETL tools are there in the market. Lot of databases are there in the market. Lot of BI tools. Like if you can notice here, Tableau is mentioned, not Power BI. But here you can see Power BI. So here it is, the ETL tool is different, right? So which means company to company, the ETL tools might be different. The storage of the databases will be different. Right now it is SQL. We might have Teradata or SAP HANA or Oracle or like kind of any kind of database is there. It doesn't matter. If you know SQL, you can easily work on those. Write the queries and get the data for the BI tool and create the reports. And these are required to load the data to the database. I will also go through this bit about like these ETL tools in upcoming lessons, like to have an idea for you. Also, this is basically every day we get the data, right? We need to load that latest data to the database. Then only we can see latest numbers in the reports. For example, data was loaded on last week, and this week, last 3 days happened, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for example. In the report, if we don't have latest information, we don't see latest. In order to have that latest, so we will have these jobs whatever created, right, through ETL. They should be running to pick up that latest data and load it into the database. Okay, so that's mainly about this particular flow, I could say. And if you look at Power BI, or so what is happening in the market, right? Mm. Yeah. Let me just check for latest one. Business intelligence. I'm just checking out like this kind of thing. Latest for latest year. 24. Yeah, we'll see this. Yeah, this is security information team. This is not for that. So we're looking for BI, right? Business intelligence. Let me just show you. I should search it like this. I was not having the latest one. That's why I just searched it like now. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, it is taking a lot of time for me to get that. I'll just put search of images and we can see 2023 is there, not 2024. But yeah, let's have a look about this 2023 only. So if you observe it, right, so this is as on 2023. Maybe I don't have it like 2023. Okay, 2022 I have it. If you look at here, so number one position Microsoft is having. The second one is Tableau. Among all the BI tools in the market, right? If you notice it, Microsoft stands number one position in the market, and mainly two areas. So one is like the ability to execute and completeness of vision. If you go with these two factors or two parameters, right? So Microsoft Power BI states number one position in the market. And if you look at 2015, like around 9 years back, right? Tableau was number one position in the market. Microsoft was there, but not up to that mark. So, but last 5 6 years, Microsoft is the one like where we can see at the top actually. Okay, so that is the position which is having in the as per the Gartner analysis. You can even find this information in Google also, where so which tool is most used with respect to these factors, right? You can also see. And one thing about this learning Microsoft skills, right? So if you look at, we were talking about all these things. So we have a ETL tool available from Microsoft. We have a storage database available from Microsoft. We have on-premise and also cloud database. Both are there in Microsoft. So we have a BI tool is available in Microsoft, which means for a project, right, all the required things. For example, if you take Informatica, Informatica is only supports ETL only, not for storage, not for BI. But Microsoft, it is not like that. So it has everything for a project to work with. So all the products required for a project is available within Microsoft, which means the usage of Microsoft, products also more in the market, which means most of the companies, right, they prefer to use Microsoft based products. So they might use ETL tools. So we have a data integration ETL tools are there. SSIS is there, which is there for since long time. So we have Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks for data integration. Data modeling tools are there. Databases are there. And I have not mentioned databases here. So we have MS SQL Server, Microsoft Azure is there. So those are like databases to store with, and also reporting tools are there, right? And also work management and ticketing tools. They have Azure DevOps is there, so where we can have the boards and store this. So likewise, if you look at SharePoint is also one of the thing from Microsoft is available. All the products are there. So from Microsoft, and at the same time, for all the projects, right? Most of them they try to prefer Microsoft products only. So that's why it will have always on demand in the market. If somebody working on Microsoft products, they will have a lot of openings also. That's the thing just to know about that Microsoft products. But with respect to the Power BI, right? Like what and all we are going to see in Power BI, right? So one is Power BI desktop. See, Power BI desktop is a tool. So I will help you on like all the things like in upcoming lessons. How do we install these tools and how do we use it? So all those things I will help on that area. But one is like Power BI desktop. This is the one like we need it like to develop the reports. For example, if I have to show you, so I have already installed in my machine, right? This is the Power BI tool, which we are going to learn in upcoming lessons actually. Okay. So if you notice here, so this is the tool and it's very simple and simple tool. I can say it is not very difficult to learn it also. So what I will do is I'll explain each and every option in this tool in upcoming lessons to have that clear understanding for you to have the complete knowledge, and while working also, right, you can comfortably work on this. So just to start with, so we use this get data option to connect with the data. So basically in order to, as I mentioned, right, like so before also, so if you want to create a report in Power BI, so we need to have a data for it, right? For that, so we use this get data option to create to connect with the data, or if I have to connect with the recently connected data sources, I can even connect it. I'll just go and connect with the data sources which is recently connected, or I can even go with get data and also connect it. So this is the database which I have connected. So out of which I can load some of the data, like I just connect with this data. Some some tables I'm connecting and loading them. So this is as simple as that. Like I'll explain all these things in upcoming lessons. What and all these things, what will happen, right? So we'll see that. But right now I just go on and getting the data. So once I load the data, it will come in the right side to us, right? So in detail, everything we will see it in upcoming lessons. So when we start with Power BI, but if you could notice, so we have got those objects here, tables, right? Using this particular one, like if I want to make you through here, this is the report view where we can create the reports using these visualizations. For example, if I take a bar graph and I need to take some data to develop it. For example, if I take the region, if I select the region and sales, see, we got the chart. So this chart also can be built. It's very easy. So we can drag and drop here like this. We can drag and drop and it will come, right? Or if you want to drag and drop in the visual also, it will be fine. It will come. Both are same only. It's just that like we have to drag, right? Or if you select it automatically, on that particular visual, it will happen, right? So you don't need to do write any coding for this. You just have to do drag and drop, and you have to create this, right? So there will be a lot of visuals are there, like you can see here. So when to use each visual also, I will have a separate sessions in upcoming lessons to explain that, right? So likewise, we can create the reports, right? And also you can see this one is data view. So where we can see underlying data from the table, right? So what data we have it, which we could notice here. And if we could look at model view, so where we will link these tables actually, right? So we can link these tables, and also if you have more tables, we can also create the layouts for respective tables and create it. So this is all about data modeling. We'll have in detail sessions about upcoming lessons, but end of the day, this is how we can create the report. Right, once we create this report, maybe we can give a name for this report, maybe like a demo team 35. I just give a name. Maybe I'll just save it in a desktop for now. Just save it, done. After saving this report, right, I can even publish it to the online. So I just go ahead and publish this file in any of the place destination. It's getting published. So I have created one single visual, but it has to be more, but I just created one. So if you look at now, I'm just opening that whatever we had it in the developed in this Power BI desktop, right? So we can see that online over here. So cloud based, like users will be accessing the reports on the cloud only. And you could see similarly, this is another report which has been created previously, but I'm just showing it to you. So Power BI desktop is the one where we will do everything the work, and we develop it, and we will publish the reports in Power BI server or service. This Power BI service is the cloud based portal where users will access the reports through this particular one online. Okay, so that's mostly on, like for example, let me also open another report if I can see, like we can see this is another report, right? So this is the Power BI service. That is also we will learn it like end to end in our training. And there are two kind of licenses we have it: Power BI Premium license and Pro license. So what is Power BI Premium, Power BI Pro, and Premium per user also newly it has been introduced. So we'll talk about all these licenses in detail also in the upcoming lessons. And you can see this is the when we had opened Power BI tool, right? So Power BI tool, this is the tool which we will be using it to create the reports. Okay, it is as simple as that, but we should learn a few more things also part of this training, right? But this is about like this whole training which we will be covering. But I just shown you like how do we create the report also using this tool, and how do we deploy that report into the Power BI service, and how we can access it, everything which we can see. But there will be a lot things to learn in Power BI service, like how do we give permissions to the other users to access the reports. All these things we will learn it in upcoming lessons. But just to give this roadmap of this training, right? Whole training, how we will be proceeding with, right? So just to tell you, so as I mentioned, right, I will be starting with the data warehousing concepts. So why this is required is like you don't know anything about data. Some of the terminologies you should understand with respect to the data, and some of the models we have it that you should be having idea, because some questions you get it from data warehousing also in the interview. So that is something I will be covering it on first few sessions, maybe next 3 4 classes, right? Will have data warehousing classes. After that, we will start with SQL. SQL is nothing but database actually, right? So the database, how do we create a table? How do we insert the data? How do we load the data? What kind of models we have to create it? Everything we will cover it in SQL Server over there, right? And then we will start with Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is something you just have seen. This is the Power BI Desktop. We'll be learning everything end to end in this particular Power BI Desktop, like when to use which visuals and each and every options. Like if you could notice here, so we have further options also inside this particular tool to learn. This is a Power Query, like where we can use this Power Query to transform and structure the data also. So all those things we will learn it like over here. So one is Power BI desktop. Part of that we will have to learn when to use which visuals. Power BI DAX functions. This is the backbone of Power BI training. So we have around 230 functions are there. So most of the outside institutes, right, they'll hardly cover 50 functions. So mainly, so we need this Power BI DAX functions knowledge where everything will not be available directly to drag and drop and create. There are certain things as per the business requirement. So we need to create certain new columns and new measures also. For that, we need tax functions knowledge, so which I will be covering each and every function with examples and real-time use case and scenarios also, which will help you to work on them easily, right? Also, I will take Power BI service classes. So service in the sense like I just gone through, right? Like we develop and we deploy the reports. So how do we deploy it? What kind of things are there? Like we can see here, lot of things which we can see it like within this particular one. So we'll walk you through those things also inside of that. Okay. So that is mostly on the Power BI service side, which we will be going through. And also I will take a project class, right? So and also give the notes for the interview purpose where you can explain that notes using that. Also, I'll be giving the resume class also where you can use that class to create the resume. So while we go through this training, I will also conduct the mock interviews on daily classes. Interviews in the sense I will be asking the questions, right? So with that, you will, I mean, with that questions, right, you can easily learn them while having the training so that if you attend the interviews, it will be easy for you to face those interview questions also, right? I will also share the dashboards and reports, around 40 dashboards and reports for your practice purpose. You can use the reports and following them, you can practice it from your laptop also on regular basis. So that will not be given at this moment because once we start with Power BI and if you have that some idea about Power BI, at that point of time I'll share it where you can practice them. Also, I will give the recordings also 8 months. I give it from the start date. So I'll be giving that recordings 8 months where you can go through and refer them and practice them also. Materials though I will provide end to end. I'll share those notes, everything, and using that you can practice it. Okay. Also further, I also help in the placement support if required. This is optional actually. So placements also I will be supporting and also work support if somebody is initially struggling in their work and really require some help in the initially. So that is also I will be helping. So with respect to the charges or something, right? You can also talk to me directly for these things. Okay. So how it will be, how I will be helping and how it happens, everything. I'll give clear idea to you guys. If you have somebody have some knowledge required on that, you can reach out to me directly on my phone number. Okay. So this is about a complete training picture which we will be having in upcoming lessons. So this is a simple demo and overview session. So now anybody has anything questions, please feel free to ask me now. Yeah. Any questions you have?
What is the entire training duration?
Entire training?
The duration of the training, the entire training.
Usually it will be like roughly I can say 40 to 45 sessions. Okay. Which means 2 months it will take because I'll be taking the training on Monday to Friday, right? Not on weekend. So it will be 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions anyone has? Okay. No questions for everybody. Then that's it for this. Let me stop this recording also. This recording I will upload and I will